Okay, hello again, guys. I've watched all the LazyPeon's video about the ashes of creation. Yeah, there's so many good and bad things, but especially I'm still positive in this new MMO, although it's taking too long. Now I'm watching this last video. So what's happening? It's the latest video about ashes of creation this year, 2023, made by LazyPeon. So let's see. I'm still excited for this new MMO.
It's been about 5 months since my last video covering Ashes of Creation's monthly
Yeah,
development updates, and in that time we've seen some really solid progress
very
shown each
amazing.
month, although I was definitely wrong about my prediction on Alpha 2 being announced sometime in Q1 2023. I like to do these Ashes update videos roughly every 3 to 6 months to keep the average casual MMO fan up to date with the project. I feel like if I did it more frequently than that though, it'd become annoying to most people, since we still have no idea when this game will actually release.
Yeah.
But now is a good time for a recap because we've seen some really cool stuff since my last vid. In this video we'll cover 5 months of Ashes updates, including the Cleric Showcase, Day and Night Cycle with Constellations, the December Year in Review, the Alpha 2 Tank Archetype Preview, the new UI and UI design process, as well as the Story Arc Systems and Tower of Kafin preview from the most recent livestream in March. But first, sponsor. Call of Dragons is a massive brand new fantasy strategy game that's been in development for more than 3 years, and now it's finally here. At its heart, Call of Dragons is a 4X strategy game with MMORPG elements that allow you to get immersed in an original epic fantasy world that's full of personality and charm. After all, this game is made by the same team that created the incredibly popular RTS, Rise of Kingdoms. Starting out, choose a faction: elves, humans, or orcs. Each one has their own strengths and weaknesses. Next, train epic behemoths to aid your alliance in battle and deploy them as your secret weapon. Level up and build a roster of heroes with unique skills that complement each other to turn the tides of battle in an instant, and unleash artifact skills for an even bigger advantage. Call of Dragons also has a true 3D terrain that shapes gameplay. Master the positioning of melee and ranged troops around choke points, and use flying units to sneak attack the enemy. Call of Dragons also has many different game modes where you can put your skills to the test, including PvP, GvE, and GvG, where you can deploy up to 5 legions for truly massive battles. On top of that, the game also has classic 4X gameplay, where you can zoom in and out of a massive seamless world, as well as experience high quality cinematic graphics, an epic musical score, and fully voice acted characters. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen to play Call of Dragons, and use code PLAYCOD now to get epic rewards. Download now. So starting out with the Ashes November update, in this one we got a 41-minute long gameplay presentation that showed off a few things. First off, Stephen was playing as a female Vec, and I believe this was the first time we've seen this race/gender combo in-game. The team basically show off the deer mounts for a bit, as well as a few nice aesthetics of the Riverlands biome. They travel to the top of the hill and give us our first look at the day-night cycle transition, as well as our first look at the multiple moons of Vera. Here I was impressed by how good the skybox looked, as well as the constellation system, which I'd never actually heard of before this livestream. Basically, you can look up in the night sky at certain locations, and eventually different constellations will appear, which will have an impact on the game's narrative and certain abilities. Visually, I thought this looked really cool, and I like immersive features like this in games where you actually have to look around at your environment. After that, we got a showcase of the newly redesigned Cleric with its basic attacks and a few abilities, as the team fought their way through a graveyard. I thought the new Cleric looked a lot better than it did in Alpha 1, but with only a few abilities displayed, there wasn't really anything that made me say to myself, yeah, I want to play as a cleric in this game. It was cool to see how different classes have abilities that can synergize together though. In one example, the warrior used Whirlwind to stagger enemies, then the cleric used Chains of Restraint, which stuns enemies that are staggered. Eventually the team got far enough into the graveyard that they were able to look up and identify a second constellation. Overall, solid livestream. I liked the fog effect on the floor in the graveyard. Nice to see some progress with the cleric, and the constellation system is pretty cool. December's end of year live stream was a bit different. This one was a pre-recorded year in review style stream that basically went over all the progress that was made in 2022, which was a hell of a lot of progress. In 2022, we saw the following. The year started with the announcement that the team was moving from Unreal 4 to Unreal 5. In January, we got multiple race reveals. February was an animal husbandry themed stream, and we got the Pyre race reveal. In March, we got our first look at the Alpha 2 character creator. In April, the team discussed the game's event system. In May, we got an epic live stream showing off the dynamic seasons and weather tech. June showcased a major update to the game's combat system with melee basic attacks. In July, we got a good preview of the desert biome as well as a discussion on dev tools. In August, the team announced that the map size was increasing by 2.5x, with less nodes to ensure the world feels realistic and there's enough space between nodes. September, we got a look at the Ranger, basic weapon attacks and a few abilities.
I saw these.
October's stream focused on the Gathering system, and we basically learned that Intrepid was taking the best parts of New World's Gathering and putting it in their game. And November was the Cleric, Female Vec, Riverlands and Constellations showcase that I've previously mentioned. So yeah, 2022 was a massive year of progress for this project, and a year in review live stream was certainly warranted. January 2023 was the Tank preview livestream, a 47-minute gameplay preview of a 4-man party once again fighting through the Riverlands, this time with Steven piloting the tank. He showed off a few abilities including a charge, a forward cone AoE, a shout, a damage mitigation toggle ability, and a frontal cone dome ability. Most of the tank abilities shown were said to have some kind of threat generation, and it seems like managing threat will be a big aspect to tanking in Ashes. Some people might enjoy that style of gameplay, others not so much. The team fought their way through the Riverlands and eventually died to some elite mobs due to an overpull. Apparently this area is designed for group sizes of 8, but with small pulls they slowly made it through the area, with Steven gradually looting himself a full set of blue tank gear with a tower shield. During this livestream, the thing that actually impressed me the most was the attention to detail in how some abilities interact with the environment. Here, for example, the shout ability visually moves the grass in a cone. I thought this was so cool, and it's little things like this that make me feel connected to the world in an MMO. Later, we also got our first look at the tank's active block ability. Personally, I'm not too sure how well this will work with a hybrid combat system in the long run, but I guess we'll see during testing. Eventually, they made it to the final boss of the area. Steven equips his full Titan Bark set, and that concludes the live stream. I'm not really a tank player, so I don't have any strong opinions on the gameplay shown, but it looked decent enough. During this live stream, we also had multiple first looks at UI elements such as the looting window, the map, need, greed, pass options for loot, as well as the quest log. Overall, a solid live stream to start the year, although once again, the combat shown didn't really excite me too much, but that's probably due to not being a tank player. February 2023 was a showcase of the updated user interface, as well as a talk about the UI design process, and if it's one thing I'm absolutely certain of about Ashes of Creation after this live stream, is that this game will have a highly customizable top-tier UI. As you can see from these slides, the UI has a very distinct and cohesive style about it.
Like the
inventory UI seems to have a lot of inbuilt functionality right off the bat, with tabs that allow you to quickly sort between materials, quest items and gear, and there's also a sort button too. So far it kinda reminds me of the inventory in BDO, except with no weight limit. Quick look at the iconography.
Yeah, there's a weight limit, like
some abilities. And a solid look at the quest log with the multiple dialogue options. You've got the NPC portrait in the top left of the log, and there's a visual indicator of each quest step, as well as optional quest steps. Here's a look at the crafting interface so far. A full look at the quest journal. A preview of the options menu.
Yeah. It's really blurred. Yeah,
And finally, the character sheet.
Okay.
Overall, I think the UI design so far looks amazing. I'm especially impressed by the quest log and the quest dialogue window.
Yeah,
it has a very unique and polished style about it that displays all of the relevant information that you'd want to see. We also know that the UI will be highly customizable to the same level of games like BDO, Final Fantasy XIV, and World of Warcraft with options to save presets, so there's no real concerns with the UI on my part. However, the only thing I wish they'd improve is the nameplates on the mobs for the upcoming showcases, because currently it doesn't look too good. I'm pretty sure this is just placeholder for now though. Finally, the March livestream, and this one was a bit of a banger as it showed a big system not previously shown in Ashes before, the story arc system. So basically, as nodes level up in certain conditions are met, points of interest around a node may become active, and a special time-limited narrative server-wide event with quests will occur. In this case, the Tower of Carfin narrative was activated. Upon activation, the world shook and the top of the tower exploded. The area was engulfed in a red mist, and blood starts pouring from the corruption-infested walls. When story arcs like this come online, they spawn NPCs, affect the monsters in the world, and new pathways can open up. Here, for example, we can see a bridge becomes active, and you can actually see it moving. Really cool to see. The team fight their way through some corrupted mobs to the entrance of the Tower of Carfin. We get a good look at the environment and go inside. My first impression of this place when I first stepped inside the dungeon was just wow. The lighting, the detail, and the scale of this place looks incredible. The blood dripping from the walls and the mist make it look super immersive. We also got our first look at treasure chests in Ashes.
Is this like a treasure chest?
That's a treasure chest.
Whoa!
Or not.
I loved the animation on that mimic, super cool. Overall, another really solid live stream, and I'm happy Steven has started recording this gameplay in 16:9 resolution rather than widescreen, as it looks a lot better on YouTube. But that's it for my quick recap on the past 5 months of Ashes of Creation live streams. In the next few months, we're apparently going to get a look at the new mage combat, as well as the giant Cyclops world boss, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. As for a release date for Alpha 2, I'm not sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get a date for it within the next 6 months, as progress so far seems pretty good. Let me know in the comments below what you think about Ashes of Creation. Is this a game you're still cautiously optimistic about? And do you think we'll see Alpha 2 this year? If you enjoy my content and want to support my Ashes of Creation coverage, then use my referral code or click the link in the description to create an account, and maybe I'll be rewarded for it one day when the game eventually releases. Social media on screen, help us out with a like for the algorithm gods. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
I want to play this so I can feel the combat